Something just happened over the cold, dark waters of the Baltic Sea. It was not a declaration of war, it was not a missile launch, it was a demonstration. But this demonstration has sent shockwaves through the halls of NATO headquarters in Brussels. It was quiet, professional, and utterly terrifying. Sweden, the neutral Nordic power, has just shown its teeth. And these are not the teeth anyone was expecting. For years, the world has known about Sweden's remarkable fighter jet, the Gripen, but we did not know what it was truly capable of. Now we do. And, honestly, the game has completely changed. The initial reports were confusing, fragmented. They came from intelligence sources monitoring routine Russian air patrols near Gotland. Suddenly, the Russian fighters' advanced Su-35s turned back. They did so with a speed that suggested they had seen a ghost. But it wasn't a ghost. It was something far more real and far more advanced. The Swedes had deployed something new. To understand the shock, you must first understand the Gripen, the Saab JS-39. Gripen is Sweden's frontline multi-role fighter jet. It was designed with a specific philosophy in mind. Sweden is not a superpower. It cannot afford to build thousands of ultra-expensive, high-maintenance stealth fighters. Instead, it needed a jet that was smart, efficient, lethal. It needed a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. The Gripen was designed to be operated by a small nation, with a focus on ease of maintenance, low operational costs, and the ability to operate from dispersed, unconventional locations, like fortified highway strips. For decades, the Gripen has been a respected player on the world stage. It's known for its powerful data links, advanced sensor fusion, and a highly sophisticated electronic warfare suite. Pilots who have flown it rave about its human-machine interface. The jet is designed to reduce the pilot's workload, allowing them to focus on the mission, not just on flying the plane. The event that shocked the world was the first public, albeit unintentional, demonstration of Project Fenrir. This is the code name for Sweden's new air combat doctrine. It's not just a new piece of hardware, it's a whole new way of thinking about air power. During the Russian patrol near Gotland, a single Swedish Gripen E was scrambled for a standard intercept mission. But it was not alone. Flying with it, unseen on radar until the final moments, were 6 unmanned combat aerial vehicles, UCAVs. These were not simple drones. They were highly autonomous, jet-powered, loyal wingmen, controlled by the single Gripen pilot. The Russian Su-35s detected a single contact, the Gripen. They approached, expecting a typical encounter. But as they closed in, the Gripen pilot executed a command. The 6 Fenrir drones, which had been flying in tight radar-masking formation with the mothership, broke off. They spread out, flanking the Russian jets from multiple angles simultaneously. Suddenly, the 2 Russian pilots were faced with 7 adversaries, not one. Their radar screens, which a moment before showed a single target, were now flooded with multiple fast-moving threats. Each drone was equipped with its own sensors and electronic warfare jammers. This development is NATO's worst fear for several reasons. First and foremost, it exposes a potential capabilities gap. While the United States Air Force and other NATO allies are actively developing loyal wingman concepts like the XQ-58A Valkyrie, Sweden appears to have secretly operationalized the technology. They are no longer experimenting, they are deploying. The core of the problem lies in the cost-exchange ratio. A single F-35 costs upwards of $80 million. A Russian Su-35 is in a similar price range. The cost of one of these Fenrir drones is estimated to be a fraction of that, perhaps only a few $1,000,000. Sweden can now field a swarm of 6 drones and a Gripen for less than the cost of 2 F-35s. This swarm can overwhelm a flight of much more expensive fighters. It forces adversaries into an unwinnable economic and tactical corner. How do you defend against an enemy that can afford to lose 6 assets for every one of yours? Furthermore, this technology fundamentally breaks existing air combat tactics. When you compare the Gripen E and Fenrir system to other world-class fighters, the differences are honestly pretty stark. Let's take the American F-22 Raptor, for example. The Raptor is the king of stealth and air-to-air combat. It's designed to be an invisible hunter, taking out its enemies before they even know it's there. But its whole strategy really depends on stealth. Now, imagine a swarm of Fenrir drones spreading out and using a networked sensor grid. That swarm could potentially detect the Raptor. Multiple look angles let the swarm build an airspace picture a single radar might miss, maybe even finding the faint signature of a stealth aircraft. Now let's consider the F-35 Lightning II. The F-35's greatest strength is its role as a flying information hub. Its sensors gather vast amounts of data and share it across networks. The Gripen E system does something similar but more localized and offensive. The Gripen pilot becomes the hub for his personal swarm. Against a Russian Su-35, the advantage is even clearer. The Su-35 is a beast of a dogfighter, known for super maneuverability, but dogfighting is close range. Gripen plus Fenrir aim to win before it gets that close. Sweden built a smarter fighter. The Kremlin's public response was, well, pretty predictable and dismissive. Russian state media called the reports Western propaganda and fantasies. They insisted their Su-35 pilots were just conducting a routine patrol and returned to base as scheduled. But behind the scenes, the reaction in Moscow is one of furious urgency. The Russian military establishment has been caught completely off guard. Their most advanced operational fighter jet was tactically defeated without a single shot being fired. This is a humiliation, and a grave new threat on their northwestern flank. For Russia, this changes the entire strategic calculation in the Baltic region. The Kaliningrad enclave is a heavily militarized Russian territory between Poland and Lithuania. Its powerful air defenses have long worried NATO. Now, Sweden has a tool that could dismantle those defenses. A swarm of Fenrir drones could saturate and overwhelm Russian surface-to-air missile systems, paving the way for follow-on strikes. This neutralizes one of Russia's biggest strategic advantages in Europe. Russian military planners will now be forced to accelerate their drone and autonomous systems programs. They've worked on concepts like the S-70 Okhotnik B heavy attack drone and the Su-57 stealth fighter. But progress has been slower and more deliberate. The Swedish reveal proves the concept works and is battlefield ready. For Sweden, this is really a moment of profound strategic triumph. For centuries, Sweden has maintained a policy of neutrality, navigating a difficult path between great powers. This has required a strong, independent, credible defense capability. Project Fenrir is honestly the ultimate expression of that policy. It's a powerful deterrent. It sends a clear message to any potential aggressor. An attack on Sweden will come at an unacceptably high cost. This capability ensures that Sweden's sovereignty is not just a political stance, but a military reality. The nation is a porcupine, easy to leave alone, painful to attack. The revelation of this technology dramatically increases Sweden's value and influence within the European security architecture. While Sweden is a very close partner of NATO, it's not a member bound by the Article 5 Collective Defense Clause. Now, Sweden brings something unique and highly desirable to the table. It's no longer just a recipient of security assistance, it's a provider of a cutting-edge capability that its allies lack. This gives Stockholm significant leverage in its diplomatic relations with NATO, the European Union, and individual nations. The message from the Baltic Sea is honestly unambiguous. The future of air combat has arrived, and it looks very different from what we imagined. The era of the lone fighter ace in a solo dogfight is definitively over. The future belongs to network systems, human-machine teaming, autonomous platforms. The pilot is evolving from a stick-and-rudder dogfighter into a battlefield manager, a commander of a robotic squadron. The Gripen's demonstration of Project Fenrir is the first concrete proof of this new reality. This event will trigger a global technological scramble. Every major air force in the world will now be racing to develop and field its own loyal wingman swarm capabilities. Budgets will be reallocated, research programs will be accelerated. The focus will shift from building incrementally better fighters to developing the software, artificial intelligence, data links needed to manage autonomous swarms. This marks a turning point similar to the introduction of the jet engine, the stealth fighter. Air power is undergoing a fundamental revolution. This also raises some pretty profound ethical and strategic questions. As these drones become more autonomous, who is ultimately responsible when a weapon is fired? The story of the Gripen and Project Fenrir is honestly a lesson for the 21st century. It shows that innovation is not the exclusive domain of superpowers. And in doing so, it has not only secured its own skies but has also forced the entire world to look up and reconsider everything it thought it knew about power in the air.